It's time for the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Each week, Trading Stocks Made Easy demystifies stock trading and investing so you can profit big. And now, here's the host of Trading Stocks Made Easy, the wealthy investor, Tyrone Jackson.
Well, hello there. Welcome to another fabulous episode of Trading Stocks Made Easy. I'm Tyrone Jackson, the wealthy investor, and as always, I'm thrilled that you are joining me. You know, a lot of people report to me that they listen to this podcast while they're in their car or at the gym or simply at home just doing your average everyday chores. Well, wherever you join me from, I'm thrilled that you're joining me for this particular episode because I'm going to talk about a name that is talked about in the financial media all the time. This show is an homage to the great Warren Buffett. Now, if you don't know much about Warren Buffett, I'm just going to give you a brief history because Warren Buffett is considered one of the best, if not the best, stock market investors of all time. In fact, as of today, his net worth is over $84 billion, making him one of the richest men on the planet. Well, Warren Buffett actually built his reputation on choosing stocks for the long term. You see, in the stock market, there's something called trading, where you're jumping in and out of a stock. And there's the other thing that you can do in the stock market, which is known as investing. Now, investors typically take a long-term view of a particular company. Warren Buffett has become worth $84 billion, investing very well over time. In other words, when he buys shares of a company, he's looking at what's known as a 30-year outlook. Now, there have been thousands of books written about Buffett, his history, his trading style, his acquisition of businesses, and his philanthropy. Today, we're going to talk about his long-term trading strategies and the companies that he likes and why. The reason I'm doing this show is to not only acquaint my listeners with Warren Buffett and his greatness, but to show you that the stock market today is open to you. You can participate, and I'm not telling you by tomorrow you'll be worth $84 billion. Although if there was a way to do it, I'd be the first one to show you how. But I want to show you yet again that you can literally change your life with the right financial education. Now, Warren Buffett was born back in 1930 before there was internet, Instagram, and Pinterest. He developed at a very early age a penchant for numbers and columns and patterns. His father was in fact a stockbroker, and he also displayed a certain amount of entrepreneurial skills. There's a wonderful story of Warren having purchased 6 cans of Coca-Cola at his grandfather's local store and selling them for a profit. You know, those are the kind of things that entrepreneurs do pretty early on. Warren Buffett found himself very curious about a topic, and that topic was investing in the stock market. When he became old enough, he became really curious about what it meant to own shares. You see, shares in a publicly traded company is really a piece of ownership in the company. The more shares you have, the greater the ownership. You know, we all have a different purpose in our life, and some people, for whatever reason, seem to connect with their purpose early on. Warren Buffett was one of these people that discovered the joy of share ownership early on. He became so good at picking stocks, later on in his professional life, he decided to form a publicly traded company that would allow other people to follow his trades as shareholders. And that company is called Berkshire Hathaway. I don't want to get too technical here, but one of the things that Warren Buffett is known for, if you follow any of his strategies, is never splitting his shares. He thinks stock splits are simply a way of, kind of manipulating the market. And I have to agree with him because I have made quite a bit of money off of stock splits. It's a pattern that I really like to trade every time a company with great revenue decides to split their shares in half. For those of you who are unfamiliar with stock splits, typically a board of directors will decide to split their shares when they simply become too pricey in the open market. There are several different ways a stock can split: 7 for 1, 3 for 2, 2 for 1, or 10 for 1. The most popular method of splitting your stock is a 2 for 1 stock split. Now, what this does, if your shares are trading at, let's say, $200 and they split 2 for 1, it essentially cuts the share price in half. So if I owned one share at $200, on a 2 for 1 stock split, I would own 2 shares at $100. This doesn't mean that I own any more shares, but in effect, it's like taking a pencil, breaking it in half, sharpening both ends, and that pencil can be used in a totally different way. Well, Warren Buffett says that he likes holding on to companies for the long term, and Berkshire Hathaway shareholders have been rewarded. There are actually two classes of Berkshire Hathaway. There's the Class A shares that now, because the stock has never been split, that cost over $292,000 per share. In Berkshire Hathaway holdings are companies that Warren Buffett likes. Since these aren't my favorite picks, I'm going to give them to you because at the recent shareholder meeting, Warren Buffett revealed his top 10 net holdings, and they are Southwest Airlines, LUV is the ticker symbol there, Bank of America, BK, Moody's, MCO, US Bancorp, USB, Coca-Cola, a Dow component, ticker symbol KO, American Express, another Dow component, ticker symbol AXP, Bank of America, BAC, Kraft Heinz, the ketchup people, KHC, Wells Fargo, WFC, and now recently added to the portfolio over the last 36 months is Apple. When Warren Buffett decides to invest in a company because he has so much access to capital and so much wealth, his share purchases are very large. Now, to the average person, a lot of people think, well, if I can get 10 shares of this, 20 shares of that, and the shares go higher, I'd be happy. Well, currently, right now, Warren Buffett owns 165 million shares of Apple, 679 million shares of Bank of America, 151 million shares of American Express, and one of his favorite companies of all time, Coca-Cola, ticker symbol KO, 400 million shares. You see, billionaires are the new millionaires of our era. Warren Buffett became a billionaire by holding these companies over time, taking a long-term view and letting shareholders buy shares in the Class A version of his company, which I mentioned was $292,000 for one share of Berkshire Hathaway. However, he also created a Class B version of Berkshire Hathaway, and those shares are currently trading at around $112. Now, there are different rules for different classes of shares, but if you ever wanted to follow Warren Buffett, guess what? You can own shares in probably the Class B version and follow his methodology. Now, I have to tell you, I am a huge Warren Buffett fan, but no one is perfect. Because one of the things that the last 10 years has revealed in the stock market is that Buffett, well, he hasn't been the greatest at picking technology stocks. If you recall any of the names of the companies that I've just read off to you, you'll notice missing from that list would be Netflix, Amazon, NVIDIA Corporation, and a few semiconductor stocks that I like trading. One of the wonderful things about trading is when you put your money in the stock market, you'll find a particular methodology that you like. What do I like? Well, I like investing in members of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, but I'm not adverse to technology so long as I understand what the company actually does to make money and or generate top and bottom line revenue. So I like cashing in on some of the technology that's actually around us. And because the world is moving so fast, I don't take a 30-year time horizon on any particular stock. I take a 5-year look. Where will this company be in 5 years? Now, I'm not Warren Buffett by any stretch of the imagination. However, I do have a methodology that I stick to that works and helps generate hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for both me and my students. Now, because technology is changing the world, I want to pass this message of hope and inclusion on to you. You see, when Warren Buffett started investing many years ago, there was no internet. Surprise, surprise. Why, that's a shock to me. And you had to have access to certain pools of information to even participate in the stock market. In other words, before the 1950s, you probably needed at least $100,000 to put in the stock market before you could even begin to invest. Why? There was no online trading, of course, and you had to call a broker who was highly knowledgeable just to be able to place a trade. So most people bought stocks that were members of the Dow Jones Industrial Average because they didn't have access to the data that we have today. The other thing that was really important and worked in Warren Buffett's favor was that he came from a family that had a financial education. Remember, right at the beginning of this episode, I told you that his father was a stockbroker. Well, if you're getting access to data and information and you understand the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and it was 35 or 45 years ago, you had a leg up. Comparing and contrasting that with today, where you can go to Yahoo Finance, put in any of the stock ticker symbols that I have mentioned, and $500 into an E-Trade or TD Ameritrade account, and guess what? You're in the game. Now, most pursuits in life don't ask that you make a large choice. If you want to really be successful, the best thing that you can do is make a series of small choices. So let's say, for example, you didn't come from a family that was worth millions and millions of dollars, but you knew there was something about the stock market that got your attention. Well, all you need is $500 from either your income tax refund, savings, or some other source. And as I said, all you have to do online is open an online trading account with E-Trade, Charles Schwab, or TD Ameritrade, and you're in the game. You see, the advantage that you and I have in this era is that the market and access to it is really only a mouse click away. In fact, many of my students actually buy and sell stocks on their cell phones, which I simply don't recommend because I think the margin of error when buying and selling stocks, it's a little too great. Warren Buffett didn't have, when he started, covered calls. Now, on this show, you're constantly hearing me refer to covered call writing as a form of income. If this is your first time listening to the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast, here's a quick overview. You see, I can buy shares of a stock, and instead of waiting for that stock to go higher, I can sell an option to someone I don't know to buy the stock away from me. I'm going to take in guaranteed income for selling this call option, this right to buy the stock away from me at a higher price called the strike price. For you and I, that's an income opportunity that simply wasn't around during the Buffett era. During the Buffett era, not only could you not sell covered calls against your favorite stocks, it was harder to volatility trade. Now, what's volatility trading? Let's say I like a stock that I see at $69 and I'm willing to quickly sell those shares the moment the stock hits $70. Well, if I bought the shares at $69, I sell them at $70. If I have 100 shares, I make a $100 profit. I can do that over and over and over again. If I have 1,000 shares and the share price goes from $69 to $70, I'll make $1,000 every time the stock increases $1. That is great money because I don't have to sit at my computer to do it. But as I mentioned at the top of the show, Warren Buffett was more of a long-term investor. Well, apparently his methodology has paid off because he's now worth $84 billion. Now, just knowing that it took Warren Buffett 35 to 40 years to amass $84 billion, a light bulb should be going off in your head. Because of the access to technology, investing, and trading, you don't have to wait anywhere near 35 or 40 years to become financially successful. You need the right financial education right now and the right tools. In other words, what am I saying to you? Warren Buffett has led the way. You can take it from here and change your life and your family's life simply because we have access to technology that we didn't have 35 or 40 years ago. I refer to this as the democratization of the stock market. If you're a regular listener on the show, you know I was raised by a single mother, and the idea of investing was only something that actually happened on TV. It was not something that I could actually do. But through exposure, I got this financial education. My curiosity took me to the next level where I opened an online trading account, fell in love with trading stocks, realized how many millions of dollars could be made on Wall Street. And today, because of that, I get to come to you in this podcast and inspire you. Well, today I'm hoping that not only am I providing clarification and inspiration, but so is Warren Buffett. More on how you can be successful in the stock market right after you take a listen to this.
Want to increase your stock market trading profits? Then you need to start your monthly membership to WITradeschool.com right now. Don't know which stocks to choose for trading in today's market? No problem. Just follow Tyrone Jackson's hot stock picks inside WITradeschool.com. At WITradeschool.com, you could also follow Tyrone's weekly stock market tutorials and investing advice. Plus, each week you can submit your trading and investing questions directly to our staff, and Tyrone will answer them as part of our weekly video Q&A sessions. Begin your membership right now and you'll get instant access to WITradeschool.com's video library. That means you'll get to know all of Tyrone's major and minor trading strategies, including covered call writing and volatility trading for fast, sexy profits. Tyrone Jackson, the wealthy investor, has helped his students earn thousands of dollars per month trading stocks online from home. These are people just like you. In addition to his successful podcast, Tyrone's editorial content has been featured on CBSMoneyWatch.com, NASDAQ.com, and YahooFinance.com. So what are you waiting for? Follow Tyrone Jackson's red-hot stock trades and investment strategies today. Don't wait. Start your monthly membership at WITradeschool.com right now.
And Tyrone Jackson, a wealthy investor, saying, welcome back. In this episode, we're talking about Warren Buffett, technology, and getting a financial education. And as I was saying before the break, you don't have to wait 30 years to amass a fortune, or at least a healthy amount of financial security. All you need is a financial education, a plan, and a methodology that you can follow over and over and over and over again. Now, I think you and I have a supreme advantage when it comes to investing for the long term and trading in the stock market. Why? Because if we use covered calls as our primary trade, we can take the money that the market gives us along with our monthly contributions to our brokerage account, and we can buy stocks that have the greatest probability of going higher. So I want to take you through some of the stocks that have advanced incredibly so over the last 5 years, and had you owned shares, even if it was just 20 or 30 shares of each one of these companies 5 years ago, you would be wealthier today. And as I like to say in this podcast, wealth is a feeling first. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, when I first opened my very first brokerage account 20 years ago, I did it with $500. Now, it really wasn't about the $500 contribution. I knew if I got that account open that I can put in regular intervals of money and that someday, I didn't know when, I would have wealth and financial freedom, because wealth is not only a feeling. Not only did I feel good about just opening that account, I could feel my life change. I walked a little bit differently. I had another depth or another level of conversation that I could talk to people about, which was stock market trading and investing. So I felt like a millionaire. You know, when a lot of people have adversity in their life, it's their feelings that dictate where they go next. In other words, if you've ever failed at something, if you tuned into your feelings, and I asked you how you feel about that experience, you might say, it hurt me, or I never want to try that again. Well, successful people like Warren Buffett really never fail. Why? Because of their attitude. You see, when they fail, they just tried something that didn't work out, and they learn something from it. So if you're one of those people that likes to put their money in the stock market and never expect to lose, well, guess what? That's probably not a formula for success. You see, every investor loses money choosing a stock, and that's how we learn to choose better. Every investor goes on a date with a stock that disappoints them, and that's how we learn to date better. You see, in the Wealthy Investor Program, we call our long-term investments dates. One of the reasons that people don't find happiness in money and in love, they're just not good at dating, and they probably need to learn how to choose better. So anybody who has extraordinary success has probably chosen some bad dates or bad investments with their money in the stock market. And that, as I say, is how you learn to choose better. Well, I just wanted to shed some light on some of my favorite companies. And even if you just own 20 or 30 shares of these companies, you would have done very, very well. I'm going to read a few of these names off, and I want you to notice your emotional and intellectual reaction. If you're listening to this podcast and you have a Netflix account, you could have owned Netflix shares 5 years ago for $30.16. What are they now? Well, those shares are trading over $351 and going higher, by the way. If you've ever been to Disney World or taken someone in your family to Disney World or even watched a Disney movie like, let's say, Black Panther or Winnie the Pooh, Disney shares 5 years ago was trading at $63.15. Today, they are around $102.07. Pretty good investment. If you've ever shopped at the Home Depot and you don't own shares, it seems to me something is wrong. 5 years ago, Home Depot shares were trading at $77.47. Today, they're trading at $187.24. Now, even if you weren't good in math, Home Depot at 77 to 187, that stock has doubled. That is a 100% return on your money. You see, you don't have to be Warren Buffett or a genius to make a lot of money in the stock market. You just need a financial education. If you've ever examined an iPhone or been to an Apple store and didn't buy the shares, there again, you missed a colossal opportunity. 5 years ago, Apple shares were trading at $56.67. Today, they're over $188. Another 100% return. And the thing that I love about Apple and Home Depot shares, they're both members of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So someone wrote in the other day and they say, Tyrone, I've done really well with penny stocks. Yeah, but there are Dow stocks that have gone up 100% in 5 years or less. And this pattern will continue to happen. How about shares of Coca-Cola? Well, since the world is changing and drinking less carbonated beverages, 5 years ago, Coca-Cola was trading at $40.11. Today, it's trading at $42.31. Long-term institutional investors like this stock because it pays a dividend and it has a track record of really not going down, but it really hasn't advanced well in the last 5 years. The reason is because the story surrounding a stock, in other words, how that company makes money, changes. That's part of the genius of being a good long-term investor, is that you check in on your investments and you learn if the company is actually making more or less money on a quarter-by-quarter basis. Now, a lot of people like to buy stocks and forget it. Not a great idea if you want to be successful in the stock market. Being what's known as a self-directed investor requires that you study, that you read articles or press releases put out by the company on a regular and consistent basis. That's what's going to help you choose more and more winners as opposed to losing dates. And finally, the grand mommy of them all, Amazon.com, ticker symbol AMZN, 5 years ago was trading at $277. Now, what a lot of self-directed retail investors say, I'm not going to buy 1 or 2 shares for $277. That stock is too expensive. And what they don't realize is stocks that are over $100 a share are very attractive to institutional investors and people like Warren Buffett. Although Warren Buffett does not own Amazon.com, he could have made, a little bit more money if he purchased the shares 5 years ago at $277 because now they are over $1,600 per share. You see, even if you don't have a lot of money, there's a stock for you or a series of stocks that you need to own right now. And in order to get in on this game and make huge profits, again, you'll need that financial education. That's why I give away my free ebook at thewealthyinvestor.net. Before you can decide if you want to be a self-directed investor, I think you need to understand in very simple, easy terms how the stock market works and how it is consistently creating more millionaires and billionaires on a monthly and annual basis. If you want to change your life, investing and trading in the stock market is for you. Today I'm going to ask you to not be a person who just listens to this podcast and doesn't take action. Today I'm going to ask you to be a person who stops listening to the dream killers in your life and takes initiative to change your life financially. Today I'm going to ask you to investigate stock strategies that you think you might like and replace the money that you may have in a mutual fund by putting some money in a TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, or Charles Schwab account, because for many of you, that's the next right action. Don't let Warren Buffett's experience intimidate you. Instead, I hope it awakens something in you, and that awakening is the world of financial possibilities that lie before you. Set some goals, take some risks. Don't be afraid to be wrong with an investment, for that is only going to help you choose better the next time around. Hey, this is Tyrone Jackson, the Wealthy Investor, saying, think some new thoughts, try something new, and a whole world of opportunity will open up just for you. See you next time right here on Trading Stocks Made Easy.
Want to increase your stock market trading profits? Then you need to start your monthly membership to WITradeschool.com right now. Don't understand how to write covered calls for monthly income? No problem. Simply review Tyrone's latest stock trades in our video library as many times as you need. WITradeschool.com is all about helping you get the financial education you need to earn money in the stock market and change your financial life. Tyrone Jackson, the Wealthy Investor, has helped his students earn thousands of dollars per month trading stocks online from home. These are people just like you. So what are you waiting for? Follow Tyrone Jackson's red-hot stock trades and investment strategies today. Don't wait. Start your monthly membership at WITradeschool.com right now.
You've been listening to the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Be sure to rate and review our show on iTunes. While you're on iTunes, be sure to click the subscribe button and you'll automatically receive our next episode.